Welcome everyone. Today we officially begin the Holy Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is widely referred as one of the greatest jewels of spiritual wisdom in the history of humankind. It is also known as Gita-Upanishad, as it encapsulates most of the important aspects of the knowledge of Vedas. Bhagavad means divine and Gita means song. Hence, Bhagavad Gita literally means Song of the Divine. It describes the dialogue that took place between the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and his devotee Arjuna on the battle of Kurukshetra. Since its teachings are exceedingly profound, the Bhagavad Gita required an equally insurmountable crisis as its setting. This was the epic war of Mahabharata. Unable to deal with the immediate problem at hand, Arjuna approached Sri Krishna for a palliative to overcome the anguish he was experiencing. Sri Krishna did not just advise him on his immediate problem, but discoursed him a profound discourse. Hence, Bhagavad Gita describes clear-cut techniques for implementing its spiritual precepts for everyday life. These techniques of applying the science of spirituality in our lives are termed yoga. The Bhagavad Gita is also called Yoga Shastra, meaning the scripture that teaches the practice of yoga. Thus, all its 18 chapters are designated as different types of yoga because they deal with the methodologies for the application of spiritual knowledge to practical life. The centuries-old Bhagavad Gita continues to be the most relevant for all of us today. The modern man, like Arjuna, is at crossroads where the focus is more on improving the standard of living rather than standard of life. More on the stock exchange than on the human development quotient. More on the cost of living than on the quality of life. This has resulted in his disorientation and imbalance in an environment of shifting values. While science aims to enhance the comfort of human life, spirituality teaches us how to be comfortable with what we have. That is the difference. In this scenario, the Gita is the only source of strength for the development of an integrated personality, a complete person within us. The Gita teaches us how to achieve harmony with divinity in the midst of disharmony. The focus of Gita is moderation, and its aim is total surrender before the Supreme, while continuing to perform his duties in the spirit of yoga. The problem that is facing us today is that while the world is coming closer physically, it is drifting apart mentally and emotionally. Hence, all the conflicts, violence, destruction, damage across the globe. The urgent need, therefore, is the reconciliation and reconditioning of the human mindset to inculcate a global vision and bring about the universal brotherhood. The Gita is specially suited for the purpose as it attempts to bring together varied and apparently different forms of consciousness and emphasize the root conceptions of humanity which are neither ancient nor modern. Its beauty and sublimity lies in its everlasting relevance to the daily problems of human life. It prescribes the methods which are within the reach of all. It has a message of freedom in it. The more you study it with devotion and faith, the more you will acquire deep knowledge. It is indeed a recipe for sane living for every man and woman across the world. An overview of the Gita. The entire Bhagavad Gita can be divided into 5 topics. They are identifying the problem, finding a solution, implementing the solution, understanding the values of life, and achieving perfection. What is the central theme of the Gita? The Bhagavad Gita can be studied from different angles, such as historical document, a spiritual treatise, a scriptural text for daily chanting and prayer, a sublime poetry, or an exposition of grammar, depending on one's own outlook and purpose. The objective here is to study it as a spiritual text and try to find out its main theme. Our ancient rishis have given us a 6-point test to determine the main theme of this text. This is called Sadvidvida Tatparya Nirnaya Linga. In the light of the 6-factor test, let us look at the Gita to discover its central theme. The first point, it is called Upakrama and Upasamhara. That means that the text has a beginning and a conclusion. The crux of the subject in the text starts with Arjuna's confusion, and the text ends with the statement that all his doubts were cleared. His delusion is gone and he has regained the memory of self. This kind of beginning and end of the text shows that Bhagavad Gita contains the knowledge that removes the delusion. The second point is called Abhyasa, which means repetition. The chapters give ample evidences to put forth the reasons for the view from several angles and several ways of explaining the same concept. The third point is called Apurvata, the novelty or uniqueness of the theme. Sri Krishna calls this self-knowledge as a secret, guhyam, because normal extroverted minds cannot grasp it, and hence very few succeed in understanding it. The teachings of Gitas are thus unique. The fourth point is phalam or fruit. The removal of sorrow and confusion, attainment of clarity are the end result of the study of this text. The fifth point is Arthavada, positive praise of the subject and negative condemnation of the opposite. We find many shlokas in the text extolling the supreme self-knowledge and condemning spiritual ignorance. Thus, attaining the supreme knowledge is the goal of Gita. As we all know, the Bhagavad Gita occurs in Mahabharata, which is an itihasa form of scripture, one of the 6 layers in our scriptural literature. It appears in Bhishma Parva, the 6th of the 18 Parvas in Mahabharata, in chapters 25th to 42nd of the 122 chapters in that Parva. The Itihasa form of scriptures allows painting the message of Vedas on a larger canvas. The Mahabharata was written by Rishi Vedavyasa with the help of Lord Ganesha. According to legends, sage Narada insisted that Rishi Vedvyasa, who had already written many wonderful books, should also write the Mahabharata in order to help the common man understand the subtle truth of universe. The main concepts discussed in Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is the explanation of the 5 basic concepts. They are the Jiva, the individual soul; the Jagat, the universe he lives in; the Jagadishvara, the creator of the universe; Dharma, duty in accordance with divine law; and Kala, the timeless reality. In the end, I would like to add that the Bhagavad Gita is written by a householder, a grihastha, that is Vyasacharya, to a grihastha, that is Arjuna, and through a grihastha, that is Lord Shri Krishna. It does not propose that the physical world must be abandoned or neglected. Rather, one's life on earth must be lived in accordance with greater laws, embracing one's own duty but being conscious of their actions. Such a life would naturally lead towards stability, happiness, and ultimately liberation.